first live video. Welcome, everyone. I firstly want to say hi. I guess we can have a couple minutes to be answering any questions you guys had before Cindy pops on. I'm wearing pink in her honor because she always wears hot pink, so I'm wearing pink today for her. How you guys doing? I hope okay. Hello, Netherlands. Hope you guys are all right. I know this has been a pretty trying time for everyone trying to stay sane and trying to stay healthy. I know it's been challenging over here too. I know quite a few people that have had coronavirus. Isaac, what's my go-to shade of hot pink? I'm wearing it right now. Thank you for asking. How's everyone doing? I hope as healthy as possible. I know it's been hard to find toilet paper. I am constantly trying to check online for toilet paper, and there are a lot of people that have hoarded toilet paper, so now there's no more left, which is exciting. I also can't find Clorox wipes anywhere, which is also very exciting. So I've been trying to find alternative ways of cleaning things. Face tissue. With what? Do you put anything on the face tissue? I'd like to know whoever said that. You've become, speaking with the plants. Okay, someone just said they started speaking with plants. I understand that. But you know, it's supposed to be a good thing to speak to plants. Apparently, they respond to that. I am an only child, so I'm pretty used to speaking to myself. That hasn't changed. It's kind of gotten a little worse. Em português, tá bom, mas alguém tem que perguntar uma coisa, né? Não vou ficar falando aqui sozinho em português. Alguém tem que perguntar uma coisa. Os brasileiros aí. Um beijão pra todo mundo. Oi, Chico. Pessoal do Brasil, somos saudades, hein? Que mais? Vamos ver. Que mais aí? Where's the teddy bear? I know, that was a weird filter in Snapchat. I wish I had one hugging me right now. That would have been really nice. Yeah, only child. I saw someone just write only child. There's a thing about being only child, I think, because you're alone a lot, that this quarantine scenario, it's difficult, but it's also not that hard to be alone because you're kind of used to being alone and speaking to yourself. But then accents and different odd things start happening when you're by yourself. So today I wanted to also introduce who's going to be joining us, because she's going to hop on every minute now. Her name's Cindy Eckert, and she is a serial entrepreneur in the health space. She sold 2 businesses, and one of them she actually sold for $1 billion. And she also managed to get the pill for women's sex drive on the market. And now she helps other female entrepreneurs and disruptors like herself through the Pink Ceiling. So we're going to talk entrepreneurship, creativity, and you guys have sent some questions to me and also to Cindy as well, so we're going to be answering some of those. And then once we finish answering some of those questions, then we'll just open it up to you guys if you want to ask anything after a conversation. But I decided to start doing these live talks with different people that have inspired me, hoping to bring some sort of hope or inspiration or words of advice or just some sort of light distraction during this time. So I have a couple of other really great people lined up after Cindy, and I hope you guys enjoy these conversations that I have with them. Let's see if Cindy, guys, this is going to take some time because I'm really not good at this stuff. Okay, there's Cindy. Let's see if we can have her. I have really difficult times with technology. I think you guys have noticed. Okay, Cindy's coming.
Yay! We did it! Look at all the things we're learning.
And we're both wearing pink.
That's great. I love it. Hi. Good to see your pretty face.
Me too. How you doing?
Good. Thank you.
I'm glad you're wearing pink lipstick as well. I didn't go that far. I just
I'm loving just that you have the pink on. I'm loving it. Solidarity.
I think first of all would be nice for everyone that's hopping on is if you kind of gave, I mean, for everyone that's watching, like Cindy and I met over a year ago.
Yes.
Roughly.
It was.
And I was always obviously very inspired by you and your story and everything you've been through, and you constantly keep on doing to help other women and their businesses. And you know, we even did a Q&A at my alma mater.
We did.
It went really, really well. So I think it'd be great if you just kind of gave a brief synopsis to everyone about what you've been through in your story, and then we can hop into some of these questions.
Love to. Okay, so if we can take on like middle school, high school, we've got this covered.
Yeah.
With all of your fans. So first of all, hi to all of your fans. You follow one of my favorite people, Camilla Belle, who I did get to meet a little over a year ago. And we talked through my story, and I've just been so impressed with her determination to put other women on top, which is really a lot about my background. So I have built and sold 2 businesses in healthcare. I'm best known for the last company I sold because we broke through with what the media calls female Viagra, and that got some attention. But it was really a crazy story because I had built one of the companies with one of the male sexual health drugs, and then I took it on for women, and boy, was it a completely different path. So not only all the lessons along the way of building businesses from scratch, but I think really tackling issues societally that everybody else tends to run away from was a pretty incredible master class. I ended up selling that company for $1 billion, if you can believe it. And then they never launched my product. So my story didn't have $1 billion happy ending. I don't mean that in terms of money. I mean that in terms of what I wanted in this world for my baby. So I ended up getting that business back. I've now launched what is the only FDA approved pill for women's low libido or low appetite or desire for sex. And that is a really fascinating area to be in. And I do work today investing in other female disruptors. They have first-in-class products, first in category, and frankly, between the fact that they're a female founder and therefore are less likely to get access to money, that's one of the injustices, and frankly, the things they take on are often overlooked by the system at large today because they're unique to women, they're first, people always question it when you try to break through and do the first thing. So that's a little bit about my background, and I'm facing it alongside, I think, all of your viewers today is the same complexity of how do you stay positive in this moment? How do you lead in this moment? Because it's really unprecedented.
Right. Absolutely. I think that's, I mean, we can pop into the questions now, and thank you for sharing your story. But
let's do it. I'm moving closer.
I think, so first question, which is from one of my followers, which I think many people have a similar question to this, but she runs her own business. And so her question was, what should I be doing right now in my business to survive this? And what are you doing in your business right now? Or as you overlook all these other businesses through the pink ceiling, what should people be doing right now in their businesses to survive?
Yep. Okay. So this one I have thought a lot about, not only because I'm going through it, but I've been asked this by a lot of even the founders that I help inside of my Pinkubator. So I'm going to organize it in 3 buckets. The first thing is don't lose sight of potential. Mm-hmm. For all of those people out there who run their own businesses, this is part of their DNA. They see possibility where other people see limitation. It's really hard right now when you turn on the news and it's 24/7 bad news to not start to feel that loss of all the possibility, right?
Yeah.
But don't. I need you to see potential. Camilla and I were laughing when we were talking last week because I had put out a quote that said, if necessity is the mother of invention, then COVID is the mother of creativity. Right. And so that's what I would tell you first is don't lose sight of potential. I don't want you to get stuck into just seeing limitations. That feels really great and pie in the sky. It's not. I need you to focus on it, but let's be really practical now. So that's your potential. You're not losing sight of it. Now, what's the practical? You got to look at your cash position today. Mm-hmm. So for all these companies out there, like the first thing first, you got to do an audit. How much money do I have in the bank? Where is it going? And then you've got to prioritize spend. And you got to prioritize spend based on what's really going to grow your business, right? I'll give an example for me. I'm finally getting to advertise this product for the first time ever this year.
Yeah,
so here's so I've got radio ads going and podcast, all these podcasters. And I got paused for a second. Sorry. This hits, and all of a sudden I have these great opportunities on the table to do other advertising, but the contracts aren't yet signed. It's a lot of money out the door. I don't yet know exactly how they'll perform for the business. Will they be successful? Will they be returned? I put them on hold. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean I'm not doing it with the contracts already in place, but for those, they've got to wait. So you've got to conserve the cash that I call sort of experimental. And that's my own example in my business. Everybody would have one in theirs. And then I think really importantly, you do have a job to come up to speed on all of those programs available to you. The government is actually trying to help you right now survive this crisis. It is as easy as going to smallbusiness.gov. You can get online, you can Google this. This is like really an important piece of it. Take advantage of those programs that are there to help you, particularly for my third P. So beyond potential, practical people. Right. So for me, when I sat down, like my people are my heart. They're who run this business every single day. And therefore, keeping them on payroll means a lot to me. And there's government programs now that will help for people who honestly can't go to work right now because they're all of a sudden like an 8th grade teacher and they didn't expect to be. And I have a lot of single moms who work for me. So really coming up to speed on those was important. Yeah. So that was a big answer, but I think it's a big topic to tackle. Yeah. And hopefully that sort of breaks down. Like if I could put it in 3 buckets, that's the place to be spending your time.
Right. That makes sense. Absolutely. And because there are many people now that are being forced to stay at home.
Yeah.
Also that have had their wages cut. Yeah. Or many people have also been laid off during this time. So how can one find any sort of hope during this time if they fall into any of these categories? Yeah. Also, how can someone under so much stress and basically in survival mode even formulate or come up with an idea that could potentially become a good business?
Yeah. Okay. So first I want to say I'm sorry, like to anybody who's in that circumstance right now. I think the whole world feels your pain of going through this. You're not alone in it. That's important. There's a lot of at least online chatter where you can talk to other people going through this as well. But I'm going to give you a little bit of hope, and I'll give you actually a little bit from my own background. So I said I had built and sold 2 businesses. I started my first company, which was called Slate. I started that company in 2007. So my timing was perfect for the financial crisis in 2008, because when is the time that we had the last, big recession? Right. And so I was really just getting started, but then needed to raise like the big money to support my business at that time. So for anybody who's watching, who's an entrepreneur, who, runs their own business, let me tackle this for them and give them a little bit of hope. And by the way, for those of you laid off, who might have been in more conventional jobs, but now you see this possibility of going into a startup or starting something from scratch for yourself. So here are a couple other businesses. I'll track forward on my story. So 2008, here I am trying to raise money at the worst possible time. So I stayed really lean. I stayed lean probably longer than I would have otherwise. But the moment sort of everything started to loosen a little bit, I went back out there, and in 2011, I sold that business for hundreds of millions of dollars. So it is possible, and forget my like tiny. I'll do my little case study. Now let me give you the others. Here's some small names for you that started during the financial crisis.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Airbnb, Square, Uber, Venmo, this little thing called Instagram that we're on right now.
Never heard of it.
So I know those are big and they might not feel relatable, but why not? Like these are, and they were born out of, for this sort of second part of your question of, you know, if I'm sitting in that circumstance right now, I'm really down, like, what do I do? Well, you know what? All great ideas are born from problems.
Right. And necessity almost, right?
Yeah, we have problems right now that we didn't even as a society maybe recognize or anticipate. And so now if you have an ability to solve for connectivity, things that allow us to interact online in a way differently than we had before. In my world, telemedicine, you know, the ability to see a healthcare professional like this, those kind of companies right now are going to see lots of people opening up their pocketbook. You know, investors who have big funds, have tons of money from others, at this moment in time will see opportunity to get the deals of a lifetime to come in and fund these kind of businesses that they think will be the next Uber, Venmo, Instagram. So that's
like someone's telling me something like Zoom, right? That I had never heard of it before, but until now. And then you see that they're booming and that
exploding.
Yeah.
That's right.
These times we need different things. So
for sure. So that's, you know, if you were to focus in an area right now, I mean, think about the problems, if you will, of the world, because that's where the dollars are going. If you have, you know, a luxury business right now or a beauty business, probably not as likely to get an investor right now. Doesn't mean that it's not going to come back, but like really, if you were just sitting with a blank piece of paper and wanted to problem solve, you've got kind of a great moment pointing all directions to, you know, connectivity and solving around that.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. How long was it from the time you envisioned what your success could be or what you hoped it would be?
Yeah.
The time you achieved it, or maybe you haven't even achieved it yet. You know,
right?
Like we're all constantly striving for something more.
Yeah.
So how does that pan out? Or
I think it's much more of the latter. I don't know who said this, but I heard someone say, I'm 10 years into being an overnight success story. I was like, yeah,
full outlier concept.
So perfect. Because it's really so long. I mean, I think that quote is perfection, because the one thing no success is overnight. And I look at success as very fluid. As you said, I think I've had some extraordinary successes for which I am very fortunate. But really, most of it is just all the days of blood, sweat, and tears in between.
The work,
right? It's all of that, and I think that in that regard, I've never been somebody who has like a 5-year or 10-year plan. I just don't. I have like the next goal. You know, I want to do this, and therefore, and I think in that sense, it's one of the best kind of pieces of advice is you got to play the long game.
Right.
Especially in a moment like this, you got to take a breath and realize like you're playing the long game. When you start playing the short game, you make bad decisions. You probably become much more risk averse, and you limit your possibility. Whereas if you were really just saying, you know what, there's going to be a success, there's going to be a failure, there's going to be
like this for everybody. Right?
It's like this. So I think for me, it's you know, it's still in the making. I still have a lot of work to do. There are still a lot of things
right
I want to accomplish. So I never actually think like, oh, done. Like I made it.
I've achieved it all.
Yeah, that's right.
But once you do that, it's almost like you're giving up, right?
What a boring part of the ladder. I don't know who said this, but I heard someone say, I'm 10 years into being an overnight success story. I was like,
full outlier concept.
So perfect.
Yeah.
Because it's really so long. I mean, I think that quote is perfection, because the one thing no success is overnight. And I look at success as very fluid. As you said, I think I've had some extraordinary successes for which I am very fortunate. But really, most of it is just all the days of blood, sweat, and tears in between.
The work,
right? It's all of that, and I think that in that regard, I've never been somebody who has like a 5-year or 10-year plan. I just don't. I have like the next goal. You know, I want to do this, and therefore, yeah. And I think in that sense, it's one of the best kind of pieces of advice is you got to play the long game.
Right.
Especially in a moment like this, you got to take a breath and realize like you're playing the long game. When you start playing the short game, you make bad decisions. You probably become much more risk averse, and you limit your possibility. Whereas if you were really just saying, you know what, there's going to be a success, there's going to be a failure, there's going to be
like this for everybody. Right?
It's like this. Yeah. So I think for me, it's you know, it's still in the making. I still have a lot of work to do. There are still a lot of things
going, right?
I want to accomplish. Yeah. So I never actually think like, oh, done. Like I made it.
I've achieved it all. Like,
yeah, that's right.
But once you do that, it's almost like you're giving up, right?
What a boring day.
Yeah.
Like that's such a boring day. There's no new challenge. So I think with success, you should organize it at least in your mind as, you know, what's that next milestone where win or lose, I'm going all in.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you get to the final decision point where it's a, you know, it's a win or a loss, you still did everything you could to get there.
Right. And where does someone look for an angel investor, for example, if they have, or how do you even suggest networking, because so much of what we think of as networking is going to events or going to, you know, the meet and greet, whatever that might be in someone's their business, but how can someone network online or move forward with their businesses now that it's all on the internet? Or
Angel is a great place to start. There will be a good bit of angel money. Again, for those particular problems we're solving right now, it's as easy as Googling it. If I'm being really honest, the beauty is pretty much in every community, for all of your followers, you can Google it and there's going to be a local angel network. And those are the people who are your local Shark Tank, for lack of a better description, right? Wanting to put money into these ideas. And I think as founders, like we talk a lot about venture capital and going and getting the big VC check, you know, angels is really the right place to start. And so you can find it. You can probably right now, those angel networks are probably organizing online events. So you can still be part of it. And I would say, you know, if you're really, depending on where you are in your, well, actually forget that. Not even depending on where you are in your stage of development. Like right now, with the entire world going online, you can take a master class from the entrepreneurs you most admire. They are putting out so much content. So the beauty is you can jump onto these, you know, my friend Damon John, who's on Shark Tank, he's going live. Like while we've been on, I see him going live. He is taking questions. Like whoever that person is in your sector who you've looked up to for the business success story, you can have access to them right now in an unprecedented way.
Some sort of online.
All of them. Yeah, it's such a great moment for in that regard. And look, when this passes, get on Eventbrite and find things going on in your community. When you're starting something out, nothing better than the energy of being in the room with a bunch of other entrepreneurs to stoke ideas and creativity and everything else, because you can ask them the challenges that you're facing and they probably, you know, they've either encountered it already or they're going to problem solve it with you.
Absolutely. That's great advice. And then I guess to switch gears with another part of what you do because of the Addy, and, you know, trying to help women.
I'm saying hi to Roger. He just wrote a nice note. I'm seeing people getting on. It's Sahar's birthday. I'm saying happy birthday. I see people getting on.
But there's so many articles, right, that I've been reading, like Dr. Oz saying couples need to have sex all the time. You see all these different opposing articles of, oh, it's going to be a massive baby boom of the corona babies or whatever they're calling it.
Oh, yeah.
This is over. Or the opposite side of that is there's going to be a massive skyrocket in divorce rates after this is done, of couples being quarantined together. So, and also there are different things that I'm reading as well, like domestic abuse is going to be skyrocketing because those situations are being stuck together. So how do you have any advice, A, for couples that are being quarantined together during this time, and also to women that might have struggled with their sex drive and now it's almost tenfold because they're with their partner 24/7? What advice do you have, or words of wisdom for those?
So my simple answer is the provided you want it, have more sex. That's always my advice to everybody. And I think Dr. Oz was right. He prescribed regular sex to couples. And I'll tell you why he said that. And we'll unpack the others in a minute of the complexity if you don't want it, or relationship dynamics. But truly, if you're in a happy, healthy relationship, it is worth prioritizing this right now. And I'll tell you why scientifically. So when you orgasm, your body releases the most amazing cocktail of hormones. So oxytocin, which actually counteracts cortisol, which is what makes you feel like so amped up and you can't go to sleep, and you're the stress sort of hormone, if you will, and also prolactin, which really promotes deep sleep. So sex, beyond the connection factor and the security safety factor that has for most of us, there are health benefits to it. What's funny, I'll tell you a stat, is the whole world is talking about how you can't get toilet paper if you go to the store.
I was talking about that earlier.
So one of the other things that has, like, in the top 3,
condoms, right?
Condoms.
Yeah,
that's right. So there's a run on condoms. So people have the right idea. They're stuck inside. They're having more sex. But I totally agree with you that, if something is going wrong in that area, if you're struggling with something there, it's never been more magnified, unfortunately, than right now. And I think that, that stress, in most all of our relationships, sex is such an important component to it. When we are not, there's actually a study that shows even if you're in a good, healthy relationship and the sex is missing, it takes away 70% of the relationship value. That's a study that was published in one of the medical journals. And so I think that, for those folks right now, one of the things is, if you're dealing with something that is hard for you to talk about, maybe you haven't brought up with your physician before in person because of the embarrassment factor, or you feel ashamed about it, whatever that may be, actually right now is a great time to address it. So you can do these telemedicine conferences with our product, with Addie. Literally, women can go online and today, they can connect to a healthcare practitioner licensed in their own state, and they can have that via phone, or they can have it online, and they can determine if something's right for them. Same with anything mental health. If you're struggling with anxiety or depression, right now you can access that care online, and maybe that's the best possible path, if you will, for any stigmatized condition, because it takes away sometimes what is the in-person embarrassment factor. So I hope everybody's addressing it, because it makes a world of difference.
Yeah. Especially now with mental health as well, it's just certain time people need help. This is just a stressful time, and to know that you can't actually talk to a health professional over the phone or over video chat is so helpful. It's so crucial to know that.
There's
someone who, hold on, with 2 seconds. Come here.
I'm going to talk because I'm not sure where Camilla left, but I will just put a plug in. Oh, there she's coming.
She's been crying like crazy. She wants to say hi to everybody.
Oh my God. Now I want to go. I want to go get Mo.
To everyone, and now she's going to go away. She wanted to say hello. Okay.
Oh, so sweet.
Sorry.
She's
crying on the floor, and
that's so sweet.
Sorry, guys.
Mine too. Mine's locked in the other room in his crate because he demands maximum attention. So
lots of attention is needed. Yes. Sorry for interrupting.
I'm gonna say just a plug on that though, on the mental health thing. I know a woman who runs a platform called Talkspace, and
Okay.
Talkspace has an ability to access a therapist similarly, where you can text with them or do phone chats. And so just, there's another resource. There are many, like I'm not picking one, but there are many online, and that's one that I know of.
That's wonderful. Great. I think, does anyone have any, is your dog there too? We're getting dog visits, guys. This is very exciting. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Look at this tongue.
Everything. Oh,
So sweet.
so good.
His problem is he snorts so loudly he takes over. All right, I'm putting him back down.
Bye. Does anyone have any questions right now before we?
Oh, somebody asked English Bulldog, French Bulldog. Can I talk about Mo? Because
Yes.
Mo is incredible. So I rescued him last year. And my fiance and I, he's 8 years old, and he is really the love of my life. He's so sweet. Yeah, so little French, I got him from a rescue called Road Dogs that rescues all these like smishy face dogs. They're wonderful.
His tongue, though.
No. Always out. He has to be fed with a baby spoon. So if you're asking what I'm doing a bunch of my time, I am feeding my dog with a baby spoon.
Oh, look, is your women Viagra safe for nursing?
So no in pregnancy. And I might give it some time sort of post childbirth, because I'll tell you they want to. And I should say, not a physician, so I want your healthcare practitioner to make this recommendation. But I would say, post childbirth, if you're still in the nursing phase, it takes a while for your hormones to come back to normal. So they're going to consider that in the equation as well.
Great. Whoever asked that, I hope you heard.
Yeah.
Any other questions before we switch gears here for Cindy? Oh, someone asked if it's safe to date during the coronavirus. Did we date at all? Something along those lines. I'm just kind of paraphrasing what I saw there.
I actually wondered if people selected their quarantine buddies during this period of time. I think it's got to be complex. I'm not single right now, so I'm not sure about how you quite manage the dating with the 6 feet apart rule with a complete
kind of
stranger.
impossible, right?
That's right.
It's
a great. It's like
sides of the street. It's kind of wave.
Right. It's Love is Blind experiment, but done on a mass scale. So you have an opportunity to get to know them like this. Although I guess you get to see their face, so you get to connect in some way or another.
True. This is true. All right. I'm going to ask you, because I feel like everyone that I have speaking to me live, I'm just going to shoot off a couple very quick questions, quarantine related questions.
Okay.
For everyone. So, okay. Number 1 is your go-to snack. This is all lockdown, quarantine related questions.
Oh, yes. Go-to snack.
Mm-hmm.
My go-to snack at all times is a soft pretzel, if I can have one.
Solid.
If they're in my freezer, I don't make them from scratch. Last night, I really hit rock bottom when I made not Rice Krispie treats, but the same idea out of Lucky Charms.
Oh, I saw. That looked good. That looked good.
So
with your soft pretzel, do you have it with mustard or?
Yes, mustard. Mm-hmm.
Great. Good to know. Any song or album or music artist that you've been drawn to more during this time?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Journey, Don't Stop Believin'.
That will be
pretty much in a lonely world. It seems like a good thematic to blast.
The problem is then you start really singing it by yourself
Right.
at home. I get really into that song. It's a little scary. Good choice. Movie or show that you've been watching, if you have at all?
Oh my God, I'm like everyone else in the world who believes that Tiger King was sent to save
I
this.
still haven't seen this.
Oh my Camilla, no!
Sorry, guys. Sorry, I haven't.
I've just picked what you're doing for your evening. I
Everyone's
promise.
been talking about it.
You have to text me as soon as you start watching it.
Okay.
It's just so you can't look away, right? It's fascinating on the next level.
Okay. You're not the only person that said that. I'm very delayed, obviously.
Is anybody else? I have to see if anyone else is watching Tiger King. I know there are Tiger King watchers in here.
I have heard of many people seeing it, so I know you're not the only one. So good, yes. Yes, Carol. Any book or something you've been reading?
I will tell you honestly, what I have been consuming the most of is all of the online content about Tiger King.
Okay.
After I watched it,
related content.
Then I had to go on Twitter and read what everybody had written about it. And I'm just, yeah, that has been my, what is it? Your guilty escape.
Got it. Okay. And then anything you've done to de-stress or try and stay zen, what has helped you this time?
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't say prioritize sex. That's always there for me. But I told you guys what I do. The other thing is, animals. Honestly, like I love seeing your dog, and that is my best stress relief. I tease that my home is, I call it pink acres. I love pink. For people who don't know, I love that Camilla's in pink. And I have 2 pigs outside, chickens, 2 dogs. So all the animals. That's really like the best de-stress of all for me. Carol is watching. I saw her. She has 9. So she has 9 dogs.
9 dogs.
So she has me beat. Yeah.
That's right. The animals are the best. It's true. Well, thank you, Cindy, so much. I hope everyone enjoyed our...
Wait, don't get off yet. You have to tell us what you're doing. I need to know what you've been doing to de-stress. I've done too much of the talking.
Oh, what have I been doing? Well, I've been cooking a lot, but I do that anyway. So that's kind of my go-to. And I do find myself looking up at the sky much more often, which we tend to not do that because we're so stuck to our phones or computers or looking down all the time. And now I've been looking up in the sky, especially here in LA where it's just so blue and at night it's so quiet, which is odd. That's not usual. So I've been noticing these small things, these changes, during this time when everyone's less traffic, less pollution. It's kind of incredible to notice that.
It is. And a favorite snack?
That changes. It could be anything from dark chocolate to dried mango to bread. I just love bread very much. So I have a lot of bread in my freezer.
That's great.
Like freshly baked bread and I'll slice it. It's a good trick for everybody that buy a really great loaf of bread. Cut it right away, slice it, put it in the freezer, and then when you take it out, if you have a toaster oven at home, pop it in very quickly, and it's almost like it's fresh.
Ooh.
So I just love bread. So
any other recipes that you're going to send me that I can try? Not too complicated?
I can do that.
Yeah?
I kind of been just making everything up as I've been going along.
Really?
Because, for example, I don't really have any more fresh produce right now. It's kind of all gone. So now I'm wondering, how do I incorporate? I'm just using a lot of garlic because I have a lot of garlic. So a lot of garlic and a lot of onions because they last a long time. And that's what I've been doing in pasta.
That's great. I know pasta. That's me. So, I feel like it's the carb loading COVID moment.
It doesn't go bad for a long time. That's what I've been focusing on.
For sure. Thanks for having me. Thanks to all. And your followers are the best. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And I hope everyone enjoyed our chat and hope everyone has a good rest of your Monday. All right.
Sounds good.
Bye,
Camilla.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.